Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 3, 2, 1. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 3, 2, 1. Holy shit. Well, that's working nice and well, ain't it? Fuck yeah, motherfucker. Cheap, 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 cheap.
She said, when the verdict came out, we actually already had an idea who the winner might be. Lo and behold, the jury did choose Johnny Depp. He had the perfect witnesses, the best narratives, and most accurate pieces of evidence. Amber's was nothing compared to his, but the actress didn't want to accept this and became a sore loser. Publicly, she released a statement minutes after the verdict was released. Maybe she had it ready. She said that the disappointment she felt that day is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. Mountain of evidence wasn't all of that proven to be fake or heavily edited. To understand the next lines of her pitiful statement, you should know that her opus Ed came out at the height of the Me Too movement. That was when women kept sharing their abuse stories online to inspire others to speak up. Now that Amber lost the trial, she claimed that this was a setback for women and the Me Too movement. She boldly added that this trial sets back the idea that violence against women should be taken seriously. Legal analyst Rich Schoenstein doesn't think so. In fact, Amber's statement makes him angry.
It goes on a little bit further there, but that's just a portion of it. What do you make of this post-verdict comment?
It infuriates me. If Amber Heard and her...
He said that the actress and her team should stop saying that the Me Too movement was set back because she was able to protect herself, and even got a restraining order from her supposed abuser.
Heard about the Me Too movement, they shouldn't be going around and going on television and saying it was set back. Amber Heard went to the police, got a restraining order, got a divorce, and nothing bad happened to her. She protected herself and was fine. It was only when she put up this self-serving article in the Washington...
He pointed out what everyone was thinking. It was not until she released the op-ed that things got crazy. To Rich, there's nothing that this trial did to stop the movement.
Before her big movie was premiering that she got in trouble. That is not a normal circumstance. The Me Too movement did not get a setback.
Basically, she just made a fool out of herself. For years, there have been so many things going on between ex-celebrity couple Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I think their relationship was already rough even before they got married. Anyway, many photos of Johnny with a beat-up face, bruised bruises all over his body, and his severed finger surfaced the web. We started to notice that something pretty bad was up. As time went by, Amber was the one who claimed that Johnny abused her, even though she didn't have enough evidence to prove that. The actress released statements and articles that would call Johnny a wife beater or a domestic abuser. She even became a self-proclaimed public figure representing domestic abuse. The Pirates of the Caribbean actor got sick of this nonsense and decided to sue Amber Heard for defamation. Honestly, he should have done this sooner. The defamation trial lasted more than a month, and this wasn't even the first trial. They already had one in the UK, but Johnny lost. Mostly it was a waste of our time, and it just strengthened the fact that Amber Heard was lying the whole time. People would notice that she just got lines from movies or books. She even stole a sexual abuse narrative from her assistant. How disgusting. The only thing Amber Heard set back in the end was herself. Johnny Depp made us all realize that standing up against abusers shouldn't be difficult for real victims. Thanks for watching this video. Tune in the next videos for more stories about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial.
Fuck yeah, motherfucker! Debate me live, bitch. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 3, 2, 1.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 3, 2, 1.
It's your boy PSA Sitch here with another Sunday show with everyone's favorites, the very worst crow tamer of all time, Adam Freeman.
You did it! You came up with something new.
Crows.
That's great.
Adam is attempting to train crows to steal money, and he's just failing at it.
I haven't.
Magpies for that.
What's that supposed to, I don't know.
Do you not know about magpies?
Do you not know about the magpies?
This sounds vaguely racist to me.
Even Doom. No, why don't he? Well, it is technically against magpies, but I think that even you, Doomer, might have. He has interesting bird opinions, and even he knows that magpies like to steal shiny things. They like to steal. Well, I say steal. Most of it is probably just trash, and they can have it. But they get little shiny metal bits and stuff, and they make their nests with it, and then they show off to the lady magpies, and that's how they...
Adam's trying to get the crows to steal money, like $20 bills, off of tables.
Which is
Okay,
illegal.
Sitch, you failed because you're supposed
Anyway,
to say...
today we're joined by some very special guests.
Yeah, exactly.
We're joined by Rags, Doomer, and Destiny, a.k.a. Steven. How are you all doing today?
Doing great.
Wonderful.
Doing fantastic. All right.
Today we'll be watching some. This was highly requested for weeks, but we didn't want to cover it because we had just done a Voosh video and we don't like to do two in a row. And this is Vosh Is he advocating for violence? I'm not sure. Or he's at least advocating that the Republicans, if they control all 3 houses of government, that they will enact some type of LGBT genocide.
He's definitely on the violence train.
Yeah, should we get into it? You've covered this already, Destiny, didn't you? This is like...
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
Wait, also, just hold on. I'm trying to figure out what I just signed up. It's not fair. Am I committed to like an 8-hour show?
Testing.
You can leave.
No, you
Testing.
you can...
My name is like, oh, we're going to be counting. Okay, just make sure.
You can skip out. In fact...
Fucking baller, yo. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
for asking ahead of time. At least, you know, you might want to say goodbye to us before you
Oh,
leave.
yeah, I won't.
Yeah, just sneak out of the room quietly. Did you, you gotta join the watch together though, Dustin.
Do I have to?
Well, if you want to watch the video with us.
I remember all of it.
Okay.
All right, I've been on YouTube for a minute.
Video games are serious
I'm
business.
definitely not currently on
Don't let
Streamlabs.
the watch together link in your stream, for heaven's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Yeah,
that game
it's
looks
on.
kind of lit. Destiny, how is that? Is it good?
Everybody's playing it. Seems to be good.
What game?
The
Like
New
Thief or
Rising
something?
game. Okay, hold on. I'll join you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll join your thing. Where is the?
Thank you.
Claims
Oh,
Streamlabs is
you were
running.
playing a game on your
I'm
end.
not
I
sure if
gotcha.
it's working
No,
though,
not.
so let's
Where's the
check.
watch together thing?
Let's
I
check,
sent
shall
it
we?
in the link next to the Zoom link, so you should have it
Okay, gotcha.
on your end.
I figured first we would,
Oh, that's fucking badass.
At least, you know, you might want to say goodbye to us before you sneak out of the room quietly. Did you, you gotta join the watch together with us. Do I have to? Well, if you want to watch the video, I remember all of it. Okay. Alright, I've been on YouTube for a minute. Video games are serious business. I'm definitely not currently on Streamlabs. Watch the other link in your stream for heaven's sakes. Yeah, it looks kind of lit. How is that? Is it good? Everybody's playing it. Seems to be good. What game? The New Rising game. Okay, hold on. I'll join your thing. Where is the Claims Streamlabs is running? Playing a game on your end. I'm not sure if it's working though, so where is that watching it? Let's check. I sent it in the link next to the Zoom link, so we should have it. Okay, gotcha. On your end. I figured first it would,
Fuck yeah, motherfucker. I mean, honestly, what do I expect from a bunch of pro-choice men, right? But we'll fucking try the video anyway, y'all.
watch. There were two videos that kind of led up to this conversation. We're not gonna watch the whole ones. We'll just watch like 3 minutes from one and 10 minutes from the other one. Kind of set the stage, the background of what this conversation is all about.
Right, but since we have Destiny here, Destiny can fill us in on. There was a little drama around. I think.
Little, huh?
So
Just a little?
Was it Rose what's the Rose Wrist?
Yes.
Is that the YouTuber? So Rose Wrist is a bread tuber, I believe, who's responding to this video.
Well, hold on. Today, just because I want to, especially if I'm involved in watching, I want to sure the facts are accurate.
Okay.
I thought, didn't Rose Wrist reach out to Bausch?
What I believe
I
so.
thought it was the other way around, but I'm not sure. So.
Yeah. We like to get accurate facts here too, so I appreciate that. We don't want to, Vosh, if we're misrepresenting you in any way, I know that you would never misrepresent anybody on the internet. So
Right.
I would just like to formally, not going to apologize, but if we get it wrong, you know,
Acknowledge that.
acknowledge that we get it
There
wrong.
you go.
Okay.
Anyway.
So the thing that I didn't know, Destiny, was did Rose Wrist ask one of your questions, or that was unfair?
Oh yeah,
to
wait,
me?
there was one question that I wanted to ask Bosch because I thought Bosch was being a little bit cagey, but
Right. So he did ask that question.
yeah, he did, and he told.
Get to the Voosh. Can't wait to have shit to correct you on.
Bosch which question it was.
What was the response? Do you recall?
I don't even remember the question,
Okay.
but whatever it was unsatisfying. So
Yeah. All right. So let's get into it.
Let's get into the video.
NPR's Melissa Block reports.
Now, there must be an initial assumption here. Kindergarten to third grade, that's so little. It's a...
So, the name of this video is Republicans Want Queer Kids Dead and They're Winning. And this is in response to the DeSantis Don't Say Gay bill.
There's a bit of...
Republicans, like myself, don't want kids to be queer. However, we don't want queer kids to die. Big difference. We don't want anyone to be queer. But we certainly don't want queer folk to go die or be killed in any way. Okay? Got it, buddy?
bit of an echo on the watch together. Is that Doomer or Rags, perhaps? I'm not certain.
I don't think it shouldn't be me.
Right.
I mean, I have headphones in. Is there any other way that would happen?
I have
No.
headphones in as well.
Yeah, I've had phones as well. So.
Dear
Maybe
Lord,
it's you.
this fucking bullshit.
Maybe watch together.
I didn't hear an
Fuck that
echo,
together.
You didn't hear an echo?
No.
Oh, I did.
About Do you have
just
the
look and
stream
see
open?
whose box lights up when the video starts. You can be able to tell exactly where's it.
Right.
Keep in mind, the real position that most Republican politicians have is that, well, okay, just let's get the...
There's definitely an echo.
Yeah, I do hear it
And
now.
it's definitely not me.
Okay, well, I don't hear an echo, which makes it feel like it might be me. Is it me?
Ah,
I don't hear an echo either.
It's you.
Oh, shit. Well, wait, hold on now.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on.
It even echoed like after we paused the video.
the other guy said he didn't hear an echo, so fuck
Bosch
you guys.
was still talking. Who's the
Hey,
other
stop
guy?
covering, okay?
Covering, I'm uncovered entirely.
I also don't hear an echo. I don't know what's going on.
You guys don't have like a stream open in the background or two watch together windows open or something, right?
I don't have any other stream open. No.
No, the people that are saying they're hearing echoes.
Yeah, I do hear the echo. I don't have anything open.
Yeah, I don't have anything open either.
Hope so. For those who are being bothered by an echo, because I don't hear it, so I don't.
Let's try again. You
Just out of the
might be better to search for it while it's going on.
way right to begin with, okay? Legitimately, most Republican politicians,
Completely fixed now. Whatever you did, it worked. Doomer.
I didn't know anything.
I
so
don't
it
think
wasn't
they
me.
care about trans anymore, okay?
It's my
What Republican politicians care about is letting the world die to climate change by not...
All right, it's back, Doomer.
Oh, all right.
Wait. Doomer, mute yourself. Doomer, mute yourself. For a second.
I don't hear any echo, so I don't know if I don't think there could be anybody in here echoing. Are you guys in another group call or?
No, this is the only call we're in. Hold on.
Legitimately, most Republican politicians, I don't think they care about trans.
Okay, wait. Okay, it's not Doomer. Okay.
I do hear it now. Now that I'm really kind of
Okay, Steve.
filling my ears.
Destiny, mute yourself for like a second on Zoom.
I think it's you, Sitch.
Wait, okay, here, play again and we'll see whose box lights up. Go.
Okay.
These people. Cool. Okay? What Republican politicians care about is letting the world die to climate change by not doing anything about the oil, gas, and...
Right. What Republicans care about is letting the world die to climate change. It's so pathetic. It's so hard to believe how much of what he's saying he believes. Which is fucking pathetic. Since he styles himself as like a serious intellectual person, you know. Needless to say, Republicans care very much about the planet and the environment. They're just not insane, and they don't like insane proposals. And some Republicans.
It's Adam.
Only Adam's box is lit up.
No,
He's
it was
the culprit.
it was
It
was Destiny.
I muted it. It was Destiny.
Right.
Coal
only Adam's
lobbies
box
that
was
they
lit
are
up.
bought out by.
But then that
And
goes
two,
gone.
cutting taxes for wealthy people. Now, those two positions...
Okay, you can unmute Destiny. Did you mute him in the call? Okay. If it's you, it's Steve.
How is this possible?
Wait, is it actually me or
It is
actually
you.
Yeah.
my box isn't even lighting up?
I know, but
Maybe
you were
maybe
muted,
he's
the echo
in.
went away.
Maybe he's in the Watch Together as with the mic in the Watch Together's on.
Oh yeah.
Echo Hunters International, episode 17,777. Now back from your commercial break.
Yeah, you're probably-
wait,
Your commercial break.
I absolutely am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Jesus.
You're in 2 calls. This has happened before.
Oh, no, wait, is it? Hold on. My microphone and my webcam are not activated.
Gonna be 8 hours of this.
Also, if that was the thing, then muting me in this fucking call shouldn't affect that either.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, no, you're muting in one, but you're still open in the other. But we don't hear the echo because you're only in one. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Then. That's not a good point.
I wonder.
Wait,
what
echo? What are you hearing an echo of?
Can I just mute him? Can I just mute him and watch together?
Well, we're hearing echo of the watch together, not of you.
Mute me. Just mute me. Do what you must. I accept.
Continue.
Position that most Republican politicians have is that, well, okay, just let's get this out of the way right to begin with, okay?
All right.
Legitimately, most Republican politicians, I don't think they care about trans people, okay? What Republican politicians care about is letting the world die to climate change by not doing anything about the oil, gas, and, coal lobbies that they are bought out by. And two, cutting taxes for wealthy people.
Yeah.
Now, those two positions are really bad.
Whoever just said that's fucking true, you better have just been joking, or you're a fucking dumb fuck. Okay?
Bad, politically, if you are...
So, I want to play this for a minute.
That's all they care about, Rank. Shut up.
Well, no, this is very interesting because this is right as the Don't Say Gay bill gets passed. And he's kind of saying, oh, Republicans don't really care about the trans issue. And you'll see a month later, this transitions into Republicans are going to enact an LGBT genocide. So I thought that transition is very strange.
So they went from not caring to being like, we have to get rid of all these people.
Well, like, he's saying they don't care, they're just going to use it cynically for ulterior purposes. And that transitions into the genocide, so.
All right.
I would imagine most of them are like, what?
Yeah. Good point by Sitch there. Definitely a fucking insane, batshit insane level of escalation there. But par for the course with a vooshy voosh.
Like a lot of people are just apathetic to it. It's just not something that they generally discuss or hear about or talk about.
Well, I mean, I think people care about the gender identity being taught in school and things of that nature, more so than other issues.
I think there's a fear or worry about like stuff going on.
Back to it. It's just not something that they generally discuss or hear about or talk about.
Well, I mean, I think people care about the gender identity being taught in school and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's true.
More so than other issues.
I think there's a fear or worry about like stuff going on in school. I think it's a really easy thing to get people worked up
legitimate fear.
On really good agenda
Very
stuff.
grounded
Can't do it
worry.
with mass shootings, but
Well, there's the fear that they're gonna.
Say what?
well, I think it's a really easy thing to get people worked up on really good agenda stuff. For some reason, you can't do it with mass shootings, but
Well, there's the fear that they're gonna have their children.
Fucking as if people don't get worked up over mass shootings. Fucking as if. Bitch ass comment about wanting gun control. Fuck you, bitch.
Be trans, essentially. But
Well, there is also the fear that they're being taught an untested ideology. This idea that gender assigned at birth is a pretty radical idea for a lot of people. And I don't think that's really been scientifically vetted, and I'm not sure it belongs in public schools for that reason.
yeah.
Gender assigned at birth? I must not be understanding what that means. If Adam's disagreeing with it, or Adam's just being a dumb fuck right now, but like to me that sounds like, okay, you're born male, so you're assigned to the male gender at birth. Like, how the fuck else does that work? You're born female, so you're assigned the female gender. It wouldn't be like you're born female, but then they assign you the male gender at birth. Like, I'm sure there's insane leftists that would like to do that, but like, and I'm sure it happens in some cases. But like, is that really what they're talking about right now? The fuck? I'm so lost.
No, I agree.
So, but
Implicit about
that concern seems lost on people on the left, like especially Vosh. I mean, we talked to Matt Binder and Lance a couple days ago, and I mean, that seemed lost on them, that people are concerned that their kids are being taught this untested ideology as fact, which, how do you have that debate if they don't even accept that's what they're concerned about?
The thing that was interesting to me when we talked to them was that, not that it was untested, but they don't even see it as being a political question.
Right.
They're like, this isn't like we said, we don't want politics and things of this nature be taught in schools, and they're like, this isn't political. This is just, civil rights issues. And it's like,
LOL. This isn't political. That was their argument. This isn't political. That's fucking pathetic. What a weak fucking bitch-ass argument. I swear to God. Everything's political. All the time.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Anytime the word politics is involved, it's a little weird because, I mean, like, technically everything is political, right? Really?
Well,
Not really. Yeah.
I think so. Unless we're moving out of, like, once you've left, like, physics, chemistry, and math, like, what you teach in every history class is going to be political. What you teach in every sociology class is going to be political. Like, sex ed is political.
Those are political topics, yes, because they have to do with social arrangements. But if it's something that there is no, like you said, like math isn't generally a social topic, so it isn't political because there's no moral component.
Kind of, yeah, but then
Math is absolutely a social arrangement. And not only that, but it's highly, highly political in basically every way you can possibly think of. In fact, there's no way in which math isn't political. Okay? Just so you know, buddy.
Even some conservative parents can turn these topics into big political ones as well, like Common Core, for instance, is something that people have really strong feelings about.
The customer requested you hand them the order. They added the following instructions. Hand it to me.
I'm guessing this is for you? Deishi. Alright, motherfucker. Let's go. Let's go.
Sure. But chemistry is not, and reading is not really. Well, I guess maybe you can.
I learned saying I like a long time ago, which is political things are things that I don't like. Which basically means that, like, if you
disagree with me that 1 + 1 sometimes equals 3, you're wrong, and you must acknowledge immediately and completely that math is inherently a political topic. Okay? Furthermore, for the people out there that think that teaching children that 1 + 1 equals 2 as a rule is somehow white supremacist. Fuck you, you're even bigger losers than the people that can't imagine 1 + 1 equaling 3. Fuck all y'all, but especially you.
don't like something, it becomes political. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind, because there's a lot of things that don't seem quote unquote political, but what might not be political to one person, if another person disagrees with it, becomes
chemistry, huh? Biology, basic facts about various racial groupings of people. You think that's not political? Like I said before, there's no way in which it is not political. There is no way in which it isn't political. Okay? How many times am I going to have to say it?
Becomes political, not to get like too hardcore, but even for something like chemistry, you've got like a flat earth creationist, that's going to be a political topic.
Sure, totally. For example.
Well, because there's a lot of contention around almost fucking everything in the United States, so, yeah.
I mean, I think that's fair to say that anything you disagree with is political, and I guess when we talked about this before, we sort of landed on that public education should be sort of based around being as uncontroversial as possible and fulfilling the needs as many people possible. And I think there's a good balance of technically anything can be political, sure, but how many people are really flat earth creationists versus...
Unfortunately, I think in the United States, isn't it like a decent chunk of people? Isn't it like 86% of Americans? Fuck, I don't know how old this data is, but I thought it was like past 40% of Americans still believe in like God creating shit. So yeah, I'm not trying to say that like some things are clearly more controversial than other things, right. But I think it behooves you to understand that you can't just dismiss something by saying like, oh, well, this isn't political. Because I think that's a big fault that a lot of people on the left have made. Like, oh, well, this is an uncontroversial, absolutely established scientific fact. And it's like, well, from where? Well, from gender studies and sociology. It's like, okay, well, there's going to be a lot of contention here. And I think it's important to recognize that, because you just blow past it and say, oh, well, I don't think this is contentious. You kind of miss the whole field of people that do think it's contentious.
Where are you at on that question, Destiny?
Yeah, your question?
The
gender ideology stuff.
Gender assigned at birth. Is that a thing in your lexicon?
So I feel like everybody just tackles these conversations like dog shit. I think the problem is such that I would trust a lot of activist trans people to talk about trans issues now. So it makes it really hard to say like where am I at? Like I have my feelings and thoughts on it that I would argue are about as close to true as I think everybody's of course, right? But some of the more kind of like radical conversations that feel like they're leading the dialogue sometimes feel a little bit wacky. Like anytime you got somebody talking about like xenogenders or neopronouns or like all this stuff, it's like I don't feel like any of that.
I get that.
I guess when it comes to a lot of the school stuff, I think a lot of parents have a particular desire to keep sexuality
Man, Sitch and Adam, especially Adam, very weak in the presence of Destiny. Fucking weak. Just throwing that out there.
Conversations, and I guess that would probably bleed into gender-related conversations to ones that they have with their kids, not ones that they kind of have this degree of separation with. It's got this personal kind of nature to it. For sure. Although I will say I'm super out of sympathy for parents because it seems like, especially for boomers, like they just don't have those conversations at all. So fuck you. If there's so many girls that have like their first period that never even knew periods were a thing until they started bleeding around in class. There are a lot of boys and girls that don't ever get any conversations about STDs or birth control, like real conversations, not the ones where like if you smoke marijuana, get a blowjob, your dick is gonna fall off, like stupid shit like that. So it's hard to be sympathetic towards parents. We want to have these conversations, but you're not. But I mean, it's their common habits.
Well, I think they probably were comfortable with them learning that in, you know, 5th or 6th grade, whenever it's appropriate, whenever sex ed is appropriate.
When is it appropriate, right? Because some people would say that, like, kids in 6th grade having sex or sexual feelings, that's fucking disgusting.
Well, no, they teach them they teach them sex ed, they don't necessarily assume they're having sex.
Right. And that's when you start physically going through puberty, so...
I mean, that's what it was for me when I went to school. I think it was like 6th-ish grade. We got to the biology topic of reproduction and everything, and we all got this note from the teacher that explained everything we're going to be talking about, and we had to get our parents to sign it. And they were okay with that, and then we brought it back to the school and teachers and everything, and then we did that all of that school stuff. So. And again, I went to Catholic schools pretty much always elementary and high school. So.
Wow. And they taught sex ed in Catholic school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Catholic grade school they did it was really bad for me. I don't know what it was like for you, but for us it was basically like talking about how you we learned about like shadow partners. If you have sex with like 3 people that have had sex with 3 people, you're really having sex with like 9 people or like 7 people every single time.
So these guys are all making fun of that shit like it's totally ridiculous, but it's totally not ridiculous at all. Depending on the conclusion that you choose to draw, but the basic fact that it's not great and generally just not good. It's not a good thing. To have sex with a shit ton of people in general.
fuck somebody. Yeah. So
That
all
sounds
of our
fucking awesome.
yeah. We learned the tape analogy where, you take a piece of tape and you stick it on your arm and you take it off over and over again. You go, this is what it's like to try to bond with your family once you've had sex with multiple people. You can't do it anymore. We saw the pictures of fucking rotting genitalia. But this is Catholic school though. I'm hoping that.
Jesus Christ.
I can't remember what mine was. I think we sort of delved into. I think because it was so long ago, and I legit can't remember a lot of it. Maybe it was because they didn't talk about it much, but I do remember seeing some of the pictures of that stuff they'd show. There was a clear, very strong encouragement that you don't have sex until you're married and stuff.
Aren't the pictures kind of good to warn people this is what you're signing up for?
It depends on what the conversation is around the pictures.
Right. Also, the chance of an STD, making your dick fall off, no, we had a very bad. I'm so embarrassed to say this, especially given my level of sexual activity. I think I was 30 when I learned things about chlamydia and gonorrhea that I didn't even know before. In terms of how permanent these things are, or do they clear up with one bout of antibiotics? Even for me, I didn't know a ton of shit. And and then same thing with drugs too. We did the DARE stuff. I was 30 before I finally.
I did
started
DARE. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So the way that we educate our children around these topics is so dog shit. And the problem with and people know this or they understand it even if they don't know it. Once you lose somebody's trust because you lied to them about some things, they're not going to believe you about anything. And we do that to our kids a ton when we talk about topics. It's so stupid.
How do you feel on that being said? How do you feel about the Santa question?
Which I don't like to lie to my kid ever. But I mean, some people like Santa. If you want to do it, that's fine. But I think fairy tale shit like that is stupid as fuck. There's plenty of shit to appreciate in the real world. Why?
Buzzkill.
Lying Santa isn't real.
No tooth fairy.
Jeez.
And presents just they're there. I don't know.
About them. So instead, what they do is they maintain power by keeping their voting base distracted by a non-stop series of culture war battles. They are meaningful.
This is such projection, off the charts here.
Distracting?
Well, it's not. It's true, but it's happening on both sides.
I know.
Both sides seem to be focusing a lot on cultural issues that kind of detract from not really having answers about a lot of economic problems right now.
Of course, turning the bill into "Don't Say Gay" is exactly what he's describing here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is a huge mistake that a lot of people make on the left and right. People will say things like, people just care about economic issues, they don't care about these weird culture things. That's a distraction. That is absolutely not true. People absolutely care about culture shit. The idea that it's just a distraction, you think they only care about economic issues, that is just, it couldn't be further from reality.
I was about to say, with the whoever the right wing Vouch is, would he or she be saying the same thing about whatever the Democrats might be doing? It's just a distraction. It's not really real. That issue doesn't really matter. It's just a distraction.
Yeah.
Well, most people understand on some level that the economy is so complicated, it's hard to have an opinion about it, right? It's do I really know enough to... It is, but I think that's part of why people don't care as much. With culture issues, there's no barrier. There's it's not read 64 textbooks. It's just what are your intrinsic moral values, right? And that just manifests itself as your opinion. So everyone has an opinion.
They're teaching what to my kids? I totally understand.
Yeah.
Teaching economics to my kids?
How dare
Not
they?
in my school.
Well, that's what was weird when we talked to Matt, is that that was basically his perception. I guess he seemed like he was kind of very much in a left-wing bubble about, why does anyone care about these culture war issues? Why don't they just vote about public health care and things of that nature? And it's just, I feel like the left's never going to move, they're never going to gain politically if that's the attitude they hold. They're never going to pick up any votes. And I don't think it's true, because at least publicly, a lot of Democrats are focusing on these culture war issues, and they're obviously doing it because they think it's effective.
Yeah, you have to. It is.
Yeah,
it is very effective.
People are far more likely to vote their moral interest than their economic interest, especially in terms of, unless you're talking about a huge tax cut. The things you're voting on don't really affect your economics very much anyway.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know what's in their economic interest, so it's really easy to convince them that whatever it is they want is going to be in their economic interest.
True.
Meaningless, and they are done expressly to distract Americans from the fact that their real positions are really, really bad. Now, Republican voters, I think...
That's an interesting... a part of me doesn't think that the secret, because they're in the castle on the hill and it's always lightning behind it, and they're like, all right, we need to distract our voter base because we're actually really evil, and they're going to know we're evil if we don't distract them with these issues. It's like, I don't know, maybe they actually care, because I think that I think everyone on most sides probably actually cares about this sort of thing. You don't have to imply they don't actually care. And
I think with the Republicans, it's more that most Republican politicians are still technically neoconservative neoliberals from like the Bush era, and they have to appeal to the sort of new Trump populist movement. And so instead of focusing on economic issues where there actually would be probably some pretty strong disagreements, it's easier for them to just focus on these cultural issues, which they would generally agree upon. And then like all these Don't Say Gay bills or the CRT bills, they don't really...
That I think everyone on most sides probably actually cares about this sort of thing. You don't have to imply they don't actually care. And
I think with the Republicans, it's more that most Republican politicians are still technically neoconservative neoliberals from like the Bush era, and they have to appeal to the sort of new Trump populist movement. And so instead of focusing on economic issues where there actually would be probably some pretty strong disagreements, it's easier for them to just focus on these cultural issues, which they would generally agree upon. And then
Sitch, head is so far up your fucking ass, Sitch. Where do I even begin to explain the subtle wrongness of your beliefs? I'll be right back, fam. 33 frames. Jesus, 34 frames. Fuck me. It's a lot of frames, bro. Broski?
These like Don't Say Gay bills or the CRT bills, they don't really, like, it's very easy to...
I think everyone on most sides probably actually cares about this sort of thing. You don't have to imply they don't actually care. And
I think with the Republicans, it's more that most Republican politicians are still technically neoconservative neoliberals from like the Bush era, and they have to appeal to the sort of new Trump populist movement. And so instead of focusing on economic issues where there actually would be probably some pretty strong disagreements, it's easier for them to just focus on these cultural issues.
Fuck economic issues, okay? This is not a problem for government to solve.
Which they would generally agree upon, and then like all these Don't Say Gay bills or the CRT bills, they don't really, like, it's very easy to pass these bills. It doesn't cost the government really much to do any of this stuff. So it's just, it makes much more sense for them politically to focus on this stuff.
And parents are reliable voters. If they can step in and pass some policy that's going to make parents happy, they're down to do that. They're totally down to do that. It's like a gift.
Yeah, exactly. It's free money.
Care about trans people sincerely because they're told to, because they consume media, they watch news articles, or they watch news bits, they read articles, which are telling them essentially that the world is ending because children can think that they're the gender that they don't think that they think they are.
Society is dying, unraveling. Literally are going to hell in a handbasket. All sorts of fucking degenerate fuck shit. Thanks to you and your ilk, bitch!
So on and so on. Now, again, I want to be clear. I don't think Republican politicians, for the most part, care about this stuff. I also don't think they care about the consequences of pushing down that road. Meaning that if this is just step 1 to 10 years from now, like police doing mass roundups and executions of trans people, I don't think Republican politicians...
Does he think that, like, is that a meme or is that something he's...
Rex, have you seen this before?
Well, he has seen this sort of thing. I'm not like that. I'm not super political dog.
He's serious, but I mean, he admits he engages in gross hyperbole, his own words. So.
Oh, okay. That's gross hyperbole. I hope the people who hear that know that's gross hyperbole.
Because I'm like, man.
Gross hyperbole, huh? Nothing that Trump ever said came close to what Bosch just said in terms of gross hyperbole. And that's saying a lot. In fact, I would go so far as to say Trump is essentially the king of gross hyperbole. And I'm just going to call straight up takfir on Bosch being hyperbolic. He's way past the line of hyperbole. Okay? Straight up not being hyperbolic. Okay? That's what it is. Read it and weep. Truth hurts, bitch.
And I guess because I don't know. I don't know how crazy, because I've heard, you hear all the crazy stuff, but
when I don't think it's hyperbole. I mean, maybe this is a spoiler, but like he's repeated these statements like so many times in so many ways, like to pretend it's hyperbole. I mean, it's not being taken as hyperbole. It is, right?
Right.
I might have to get the Tim Pool.
About that sort of thing.
I might have to get the Tim Pool beanie out here. I feel like we're drifting towards the Tim Pool Civil War here.
Well, he spends the majority of the debate with the guy that we're going to watch just saying that basically the Republicans are going to become the Nazi party if they control all houses of government in the next election. So if he's speaking hyperbolically, he's being consistent.
If he's speaking what?
Hyperbolically.
Okay.
Hyperbolically. Sorry.
Would care. They will lead all the way down that road and back. I do not think they care that much. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, maybe they don't care enough to do it. Like, that seems more like they just actually don't care that much.
Well, that's what's even weird too, because he's saying like the Republicans are going to accidentally round up gay people. Like what? Or they're just going to do it. They don't care about it, yet they're going to expend all this energy to put the gay people in camps or something. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess the implication is the semi-apathy of step one is going to eventually turn into full-blown, like, hatred and concentration.
Well, okay. Here's a serious question. So I don't know the answer to this. Would he consider legislation that would like block trans kids from transitioning as a genocide? Because he might.
Any single piece of legislation that does anything regarding trans people that isn't like completely 100% reaffirming them is genocidal to him.
Jeez. Okay. Well then, I mean that might clear up the confusion, right? Because like,
Well, no,
I think of a
he
genocide. That's all I think.
He said round up, didn't he? Specifically. Right.
And executions of trans people, I don't think the consequences of pushing down that road. Meaning that if this is just step 1 to 10 years from now, like police doing mass roundups and executions of trans people.
Okay, so he says specifically mass roundup and executions.
What this implies is that there are meetings of police officers and SWAT teams who are sitting in a meeting, and one of them has the big whiteboard, and he's telling them, this is what a trans person looks like. And he cuts through all the slides.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell.
We got all the people with picture avatars from Twitter. We got their addresses. Let's go get them.
Well, and do you remember, like, to my knowledge, there's only one state that tried to enact what you're talking about. They tried to say no kids are allowed to transition. It was Texas. And Fosh never brings that example up, even though it would be technically would be his strongest example. Though I guess it would also be undermined because a Texas state court blocked it on the grounds that it's probably going to be unconstitutional. So,
well, that's probably why he doesn't bring it up.
Yeah, I guess. But that's the problem with this conversation. He never brings up the specific legislation he's talking about. That's like the one step away from enacting the LGBT genocide.
I think right now the legislation they're doing up is I think in Florida they're trying to remove trans people from the ability to do like Medicaid type stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he knows that example or not, but
I mean, it's a problem if you think that he's trying to make a persuasive argument to a neutral, unbiased observer, but I don't think that's ever what he's trying to do, really.
It's preaching to an extremist audience now.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Seems that way with this kind of genocide talk. You generally want to lead up to that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to go there.
That's just a joke. Is that you don't? You don't?
Yeah, joke sure acts.
I don't think Republican politicians would care. They will lead all the way down that road back. I do not think they care that much. It doesn't really matter the degree of sincerity they have on this issue, because this kindergarten to third grade thing is only a stepping stone to any elementary or middle school, to any schooling or public institution at all.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like some crazy unreasonable thing to say to make distinctions between younger kids and older kids. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think a lot of
transitioning. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
really many issues.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily to jump to, this is just their stepping stone to the whole kit and caboodle. I don't know. I think that both sides and pretty much everyone can agree that there is some line in between the young and the old that we could sort of put some line on somewhere. I think it's reasonable to do so.
I think the only thing is that if we're talking about a line that should be put there, then the line should. I feel like the line should just be decided medically. I don't like the idea of like state legislatures trying to figure this out. Like why? Why not just leave it up to hospitals? Like it feels like a competition between like a doctor, a patient, and then like a child if they're involved, and that should be it.
Mm-hmm.
Therapeutic industry and the medical industry around trans issues. Like there really aren't unbiased doctors. The doctors that are.
Could be a case, but then you fix the political institution. You don't bring in another political institution to regulate it, right? Because political capture obviously describes our political system too, right? Like because doctors might be political, the state legislatures don't make these decisions. Is some amount of political capture, I would still want the right as a parent to make these choices irregardless of some state legislature. Like if there's a decision that needs to be made medically between me and my child and a doctor, I don't want DeSantis standing in between me and my doctor and my child's health. Like I would never ever imagine any parent would want to have to deal with that.
But if you had, let's say you had Christian conservatives pitching affirmation care as like a way to deal with homosexuality, obviously we would jump in and say, no, that's wrong, right? I mean...
Well, Sitch wouldn't, but...
What?
You were just echoing a little bit there.
I just feel like...
I think that once you hit like certain levels of like evidence for things, I think it's okay to say that this is something that like shouldn't be done anymore. So like, let's say that it was the case that we were a bit further along in the future, and we were to see like, hey, like these types of trans healthcare things don't actually help, then yeah, we would say like, okay, well maybe this isn't something that should be, recommended for people. But I would still hope it would come from the medical institutions, not like legislatively. But
well, the state does. I mean, medical licensing boards.
State get involved in approving medical. I guess you could argue like the FDA kind of.
Sure, that's a state organization as well.
But still, the FDA runs like.
Well, I think you go to the, it's terrible.
They're used to having those kinds of considerations, maybe more so than the government. Would it be easier to get that?
This is why I think the informed consent is where this battle is really going to be fought, and I think this is why so many of this coming down the road, and they just it's like a nightmare for them. I don't. How do you give?
I mean, you can tell people that like stuff is experimental, right? I think wasn't that something that Trump actually legalized? So that people, I thought conservatives praised him for it. I think Trump made it so that
that's part of the case. Well, that's the case that they're making in trans issues. They're definitely saying, therefore, promoting.
Yeah, I think the left needs to get away from that shit because it's cancerous to suicide like that.
Cry bully politics. Cut it the fuck out with your fucking cry bully politics, you fucking leftist trash.
The left needs to move away from that messaging.
Right, but if, like, to my knowledge, I think the puberty blockers and all the cross-sex hormones, and a lot of this stuff is still, you know, it's not FDA approved, it's all off-label. And the justification for it is like, well, it's better than death. As long as that's the criteria, it makes...
Yeah, there's a lot of other markers we could look at for, like, improved quality of life
Sure.
that are going to be important as well, I think.
Yeah, no, conversation too much to justify what's kind of going on, unquestioningly.
If a parent is found to be queer in any way, shape, or form, because there's a higher risk.
Predicting is going to be narking on people for being gay or queer, essentially.
My bad, I just had a very
Reduction. It has nothing to do with protecting kids. Republican politicians love raping kids. That's like one of their top things next to cutting taxes. They're hugely in favor of it.
Well, you're laughing.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that Vosh does everything in this video that he accuses Republicans of doing. Like, he basically says all Republicans do is scare.
Well, isn't Vosh the embodiment of it's okay when we do it?
I guess so.
I mean, yeah.
Doomer.
I think in mind for a lot of these people, I see on the left, but it's true on the right as well. When it comes to politics, people will lay out like a set of principles that they believe in, like we should do this, we shouldn't treat people like this. But when they look at their opponents, they view their enemies, their ideological enemies, as actually being equal.
Yes.
So like those same rules don't apply. You know, like obviously we should treat people with respect for law, but this person is engaged in an action that is actually like an aggressive attack against me, so therefore I can act in this manner. You know.
Yeah, I don't calling people evil.
Right. No, but that's, I mean, that's the
Dude,
classic,
what are you talking about? Unironically evil, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It's just yeah.
Doomer is the author of famously of the Vosh's unironically evil video. So that's why that's funny.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that video.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a great.
That
video.
was just. So now we'll move on to.
Oh wait, are you the Doomer? Are you that Doomer?
Yeah.
Yes. The Doomer. Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
Oh, I don't know.
Different.
Did you cover that video, Destiny?
Yeah,
it's
we watched the fucking thing.
It's a great video. Yeah, Vosh totally lost his shit over it, and then
I thought you were a different stoat.
well, he wasn't a stoat back then. He was the Wojak Doomer. So
That's
yeah. But yes, and then he was like, you know, I really want Vosh to hate me, so I'm going to put a monocle in my avatar. Just to convince everyone.
This was a top troll. This was a top
deep
troll.
lore I'm not aware of.
Well, it makes him a rich bougie.
There was a bunch of cringe Twitter drama you don't need to get into, but everybody was calling me an elitist when I'm like a fucking 99th percentile economic left sock them.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, lean into it.
You missed the opportunity to give yourself the big long Cruella de Vil cigarette holder thing. You need to have one of those to really go all the way. I only associate those with Cruella de Vil. I don't know what they're really called.
CT hit on it.
He would have to go with the 16:9 avatar.
Yeah. You know her lighter's like a little dragon, right? They went full evil with her. I'll call Cruella de Vil evil. I will take that lead.
What I meant was Vosh is definitely scaring his voters to the polls in the same way that they always accuse Republicans of. Republicans are just fear mongers. They just want to scare you to the polls. That's all they care about. All this manufactured out.
Completely unwilling to have conversations with people.
This label and dismiss, if we label them as a thing, we don't have to talk to them. We don't have to engage with them because we've already laid
same shit every place is.
I don't necessarily think that's true, though. I think the groomer thing is kind of political payback for being called racist, Nazi, homophobes for the last 6 years. They finally
that, but
hit on something.
Conservatives have been calling gay people groomers for the past 20 or 30 years.
Well, some are.
Since the 60s of gay guys. Well, yeah, but I'm saying it's been a stereotype of gay
homophobes and definitely
dying of AIDS from a blood transfusion to finally get Republicans to care about AIDS, right? Like, it was a pretty mainstream opinion of the Republican Party.
You're talking, what is that, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? I'm talking about today.
I'm just saying
you're talking about the 80s?
I'm just saying that because you were saying...
You can't bring up an example from 40 years ago. I'm talking about now.
No, I understand what you're talking about, but you're saying, this is payback for this. What I'm saying is, this kind of quote-unquote payback goes back a long time.
But I would like to think that the Republican Party has worked on its homophobia in the last 40 years. I don't see conservatives being the party of homophobia anymore. So I think that
not as much. I would agree. Yeah, we've been going back and forth for a long time.
There are still
there
are still homophobes in the Republican Party, okay? But I think they're
forth. It's sort of like, okay, so they're calling the left groomers now, and then the left was calling them racist, and basically started with communists. So these things continue, forever and ever and ever and ever.
Right, but what I am saying is, there are a bunch of rank-and-file Republicans who are like, I'm not homophobic, I'm not transphobic, I'm not racist, but they're being called racist, Nazi, homophobes every single day. And if you say to yourself, listen, they're mislabeling me, then you're going to be more inclined to start mislabeling them groomers. And where you had at one point only the... this isn't... I'm not doing this. I'm not going out calling people groomers. Become kind of a tit-for-tat thing. So,
I would agree with that, yeah.
Well, but I do believe, and they're saying this now, they're trying to say anybody who uses the term groomer is a homophobe.
Yes.
Which I don't believe that's remotely true. So
you don't believe? Wait, say that last thing again.
They're trying to say, the Voshes of the world are trying to say right now that anybody who calls anybody a groomer is a homophobe.
It feels like a reiteration of prior attacks on LGBT people to just call people groomers is kind of strange.
I'm so glad
we actually see somebody groom.
Sitch, you wanna?
Well, no, I was just saying it's weird because I know that a lot of the queer theory stuff is sort of independent of gay rights and trans rights and is used to. He talked about how the idea was to sexualize children, not in order to have sex with underage children, but was that sexualizing technology. And when he was talking about grooming, he meant it in a kind of political way. And that was, to me, I think that's really how it started. So, obviously...
It's pretty big, so we're...
And then it gets picked up by people because they feel like, they're continuing the civil rights movement, basically.
Well, it feels kind of like equivocation, like Mott and Bailey, right? Because you can call someone a groomer and you mean they're like fucking kids, that's the intention that you have. And if someone calls them it's about trans shit.
I'm going to agree with you that that's definitely happening, and that's part of the power of labeling people a groomer, is that it kind of allows that meaning of oh, you're a pedophile. No, when someone says, oh, you're a homophobe, you're calling all gay people pedophiles, they can kind of smug Pepe face be like, oh no, actually I'm just talking about political grooming. And I understand it's all happening, but I think there's some truth to the label.
Well, some truth meaning that in academic circles, certain ideologies are pushed to groom children to be more warm towards Marxist ideology in the future. Is that that's what you're saying is applicable, or?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is political grooming, and I think if they want to be more specific, they should say that. But obviously, they want to have that incendiary pedophile implication.
Well, it feels kind of to me like how racism went from being having malice for people of different races to you support society.
Systemic racism.
Yeah. Well, no, I just mean the equivocation of changing the underlying representation of what a word means.
Yeah, if we were to ask the average conservative what grooming means, out of 100 people surveyed, how many do you think would get? that academic answer because I
Oh,
was
like
less than
very, very few. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I
mean,
that's
what
what
it,
yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll move on to the second lead into the debate for the Vosh video.
Okay. Listen up, people. I understand the urge to engage in sociological analysis, but first and foremost, it is critical to understand the fact that Republicans are demons.
That's his marshmallow. It's a bandage because he has keloids on his ears.
Oh, okay. So this video is called Why Pro-Life Republicans Want You to Suffer, and this was immediately after the Roe v. Wade leak, I believe.
Okay.
I understand the urge to engage in sociological analysis, but first and foremost, it is critical to understand the fact that Republicans are demons wearing human flesh. You can fault Democrats for being incompetent or maliciously incompetent. I mean, you should, by the way. I encourage you to. But most Democrats, I don't feel they're
testing 1 2 3 testing 3 2 1.
Republicans, however, this is a requirement for entry. And
I'd like to point out really quickly, people said I was being hyperbolic about his rhetoric. So, wow. Man, what a great clip. What a great clip.
Hey, you made your video too early.
Yeah, what the fuck, Doomer? You need a part 2. Get busy.
Destiny's muted.
Should have learned a time.
Sorry,
I know.
Yeah, I saw that. Are we responding to chat now? Because if so, I've got a lot of things I could say. No, I'm just fucking with you. But okay.
I muted you, Destiny,
chat?
just to avoid the echo. So
Yeah, I got you. It's fine.
yeah. Somehow I know that it has to do with the watch together. I feel like if you left the watch together and came back in, it might fix it. So
Okay. Wait, do you want to leave it unmuted and see if it echoes again? And then if it does, I'll just.
it does. It is echoing.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
How? I don't know how. Good question. All right. Well,
usually we're used to dealing with professionals here, Destiny.
You have
people who've
open back,
streamed more than once. So
well, something is happening with the watch together window that I don't use this watch together thing, but like I can look on Zoom and I see that my thing's not lighting up, so I can't be leaking audio in there. But also, I don't have my microphone approved for.
But Zoom, if you enter the watch together room incorrectly, somehow you can talk through the watch together room.
Okay,
So-
I'll refresh it. We'll see if that does anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I refreshed it. You can tell me if it does anything there.
See, I heard it. I heard my voice come through the watch together room.
Oh yeah, you could toggle your microphone on the watch together. Yeah.
Yeah, mute yourself in the watch together room. Activate your microphone, click on that button and go block.
Smash that mic button.
Oh, it shows a symbol when you're activated, so he was not speaking through watch together. That wasn't the issue.
Yeah, so
because he didn't have the issue.
I turned it on.
it isn't?
Yeah, whatever. But
Oh, okay. Maybe it's going through. Maybe the watch together's going through your speakers into your room or something, and you're hearing it in your headphones and in your room. I don't know.
who knows? Okay, try one more time. If it echoes, I'll just keep muting myself in here.
I want it to be known, and I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, but I think it's very important to insist on this. Anti-abortion,
Wait, is it echoing now?
Pro-forced.
Yeah, I can hear it bouncing
guys.
right off that wall in back of you.
Well, I see it echoing now. I don't know. Okay, I'll just mute myself.
There's a little tinny sound coming off the saxophone.
Tinny, don't say that word.
Birth advocates do not give a single shit about the unborn. This can be evidenced in a variety of ways. First of all,
I will say, as someone who grew up Catholic and was surrounded. By them for much of my life, they absolutely do care.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not. They
Of course
they
they do.
really do care.
Of
They care a
course they
lot.
do. Yeah, they do.
what are two very basic common sense policies that everyone who sincerely cares about fetuses would support. Anyone who doesn't want abortions, right?
Do we need to guess and then see how our guesses compare with
Sure,
him?
right? You got a guess?
I'll have to put myself in the Vaush mindset. It already tastes terrible.
My condolences.
Oh, yeah. With him, I actually don't know. I was thinking that maybe we could pull some together, make a game of it, but
It's got to be. It's got to be like child care,
after. It's like if you
welfare,
don't,
something like that. Free baby formula.
Something that he would think everybody would agree on, which is tough because you want to think that it's crazy, but he also thinks Republicans are Satan. So, I'm going to go with abortions allowed after second trimester and mandatory or like big what?
How is that a sensible policy?
I don't know why he thinks.
But-
I don't know how this person I don't know.
Rags, we're using our brains today, okay? So
No,
please.
if we have to role play not doing that.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I
true.
gotcha.
That's true.
Then he thinks.
Oh, I
would
got
say
you. You're
that-
right. No, obviously it's going to be some sort of child care or,
I think
or
so,
free
yeah.
college or who knows what he's going to say.
Yeah, free child. Ooh, he might go into free college too. Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
And are we talking about why he's going to say they're anti-child or?
No,
why
the
they don't
policies he's
really
going to say
care.
Republicans would be in favor of if they actually cared about fetuses.
Oh, sure. I mean, like these are going to be super standard, like Democrat arguments, not even wild ones. Is that like Republicans care about a child until the moment it comes out of the womb, and then they're opposed to things like
Right.
welfare or opposed to anything that would help like further along the life of a child after they've been born, of course.
Right. Free child
Right.
care. Yeah.
You guys are
would
missing the
want
obvious one.
Well, say it. Tell us.
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
I've watched this video.
Okay.
before.
Two things.
Sitch
You would
can't
want
cheat.
access to free contraception
Free
because
contraception.
you want every birth to be deliberate, because if it's not deliberate, that increases the likelihood of abortion.
Of course, that completely goes against Catholicism, but who cares about their religion,
Free
right?
contraception.
They probably don't care about their religion at all. What a dumbass.
Well, it's more just, I mean, the right's just against, public funding as much as possible anyway, generally.
Yeah, but they're not going to give up their principles. What kind of person says, "Oh, here, let me give up my principles"?
I
here?"
mean, I will say that like the majority of religious people are having premarital sex and stuff. I do think it's a little bit strange. If you're so opposed to abortions, why wouldn't you be pushing like contraception is bad and it's a sin, but it's probably better than murdering a baby in the womb. Right?
because they can't do it because of their principles. They would look like hypocrites, and they know that. So on the down low, they'll promote it, but they're not going to come out and support a bill in Congress. They're going to tell
then
their.
it makes it harder to feel like you have a principled stance towards protecting fetuses.
They're
Like
go-
now your principled stance is going to be more like aligned towards following whatever religious idea you have.
No,
more
they
so than,
just
like,
circumvent it by saying abstinence only. That's why they are in the
abstinence only-
abstinence only position.
Yeah, but
I know it
clearly
doesn't work.
right?
I know it doesn't work. It doesn't matter though that it doesn't work as long as they maintain their principles. That's what
Well, I
they're worried
don't think
about.
I don't even think they need to push abstinence only. I mean, people can buy condoms.
Right.
People can get condoms, relatively easily.
That's
Most
what I'm
people
saying. Every Catholic family in America is telling their kids secretly, use condoms.
Well,
But
I
they're
think
not
a
gonna
lot of
support a
religious
bill.
people, a lot of religious people are they do have that bit of a, if they want to do it, then that's their right to sin or something like that. There's probably enough of them to where it's a sizable chunk where as long as it doesn't cross particularly strong lines, which I don't think contraception does for a lot of them, they would be all right with. It's fine if it's out there, but we don't like it. But it's
Well,
the right to do it.
There's a difference too between saying like, if someone wants to use a condom, that's up to them, versus saying like, oh, my tax dollars are going to be paying for this.
Yeah.
Nothing
Even though,
lifts.
Yeah, but I mean,
really
it's
make a
short-sighted
difference.
because you're paying one way or another. You're either
No,
gonna
I
pay
yeah,
to,
they are.
I
educate
understand
them or
like
you're gonna-
consequentially, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like the way people perceive it, the whole situation.
How they
Yeah, I know.
imagine it. Yeah.
Factually, nothing lifts people out of poverty like capitalism. Do you think
I thought
Vosh
you were
is
going
going
to
to
say
go?
condoms.
No, I was going to say capitalism. You think Vosh is willing to abandon his principles just because that's a fact Of course not.
Well, he's not
doesn't
going to
care.
accept that as a fact in the first place.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And you want prenatal care. Those are the two big ones. Sex ed as well. No, three big ones. Sex ed, prenatal care, subsidized by the government, free.
I got that one right, by the way.
You know, the way civilized countries do. And access to contraception. Republicans support none of these. In fact, they're opposed to...
Got him. Proof. Proof.
All three. Republicans are against access to contraception. They are against sex education.
Access
and they
to
are
it? I don't know. I don't know about they're against access
Yeah.
to it.
Don't you know that? The Republican Party hates condoms.
Well, and okay, to be fair, he did say provided free by the government. Okay, they are against.
Now
that.
he's saying, yeah.
Also, I think a lot of Republicans would actually say they don't want like teenagers have no business accessing contraception. Or at least I've heard my mom say this a ton, and I feel like I've heard other Republicans say that like they shouldn't even be for teenagers. Encouraging them to have sex and stuff. Maybe it depends on the flavor of Republican you're talking to.
Maybe, yeah.
I think the Republican Party
this
has come
is
a long way.
PolitiFact mostly true.
Well, yeah, but do we focus on like what we think like boomer parents are saying, or do we focus on what the party's actually pushing for?
I mean, the party's more productive.
Yeah, totally. Party.
Against the any kind of
what happened to Vosh? What happened to Vosh here? Vosh used to be no verbal tics, none of this verbal garbage. What happened? I feel like the confidence level here has been eviscerated.
He needs to ameliorate his oratory.
As the preeminent expert on Vosh videos, I disagree with that.
Vosh, do you realize that you're
I don't think this is
speaking?
different.
Do you realize you're doing public speaking right here? Then all this.
You're being. Well, Doomer's saying that he was always like this.
He
You
did
just
it.
saw edited clips.
He did it.
Plus, it's fucking
before.
hard. It's not. If I go back and listen to myself talking, I sound like a fucking moron. So like, I don't know.
Well, edit that shit out, Doomer.
What do you mean go back?
Positive changes to our healthcare system. They do not care. What is prenatal care? Care for a pregnant, like making sure the womb's healthy and everything, making sure everything's going on.
I didn't know they didn't.
They do not care. Okay, the reason they care is because they want to control women. That is it. That is, at the end of the day, that is it. Okay.
This is.
Why
is this so This is so dumb because there's so many people. I'm pro-choice, but there's so many people that are pro-life, and they, for whatever reason, they really have strong feelings about protecting the life of the child. I've never heard this mythical Republican be like, listen, I don't give a fuck about fetuses. I just want to make sure the women.
Well, he's not making the argument that they don't actually not care about fetuses. He's making the argument that consequentially through the policies that they enforce, that they're essentially implicitly condoning more abortions happening rather than explicitly saying I don't care about the life of the fetus, right?
No, I don't think that's what he said. They just want to control women. They don't care about the fetus. That's what he just said.
The time about
he gets into weird territory there as well, for sure. But I mean, I think that there are it's always been a classic question of conservatives, although apparently we're not allowed to talk about all conservatives, but it's always been a classic question of conservatives where it's okay, you guys want less abortions. We know how to do this. You do it through sex ed and you do it through contraception. And both of these things are things that historically, at least, conservatives have been dramatically opposed to. Like they'll die on the cross of not having sex ed, good sex ed for kids or contraceptives available to teenagers. So, I mean, I think it's a fair thing to point out, but he gets into some weird territory later where it's it's just about controlling women's bodies and stuff, right?
Does anyone really, the average person, really look at politics in that logical, consequentialist way? Because I don't think that. They usually just rely on their their moral feelings to guide them.
Well, that's the thing. Is
of course.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. So it's not like Republicans are being hypocritical or in that they're not supporting sex ed because that would reduce teenage pregnancy. It's just they're not even thinking about that from that consequentialist lens. They're like, well, I'm against teenage pregnancies, I'm against sex ed for all these moral reasons.
Right. I mean, I think it's fair to say that they have a position that's pretty stupid considering what you would expect to happen, right? Mm-hmm. It's like your stated priorities do not line up with your policy objectives. What you're proposing is not going to accomplish. Okay, but that's
but I think this is
people
people
for being dumb as fuck.
Yeah, it is dumb. People will criticize it, but it's kind of like Democrats who say they want more affordable housing, or progressives who say
Great. Almost finished.
But one thread at a time.
That means taking the long route on both sides.
Oh yeah, really, you just can't do that. You just have to wait to take any of it out until you have help or lots of time on your hands.
I need my hair to look good in order for me to take my professional photos, so.
So you don't have time on your hands right now.
She was like reading that mail. These are those funny commercials for Mint Mobile that I was talking about.
Owner of Mint Mobile, I always want to find ways to save you money. So let's meet the barely paid spokesperson for the new Mint family plan. My mom.
You look thin, sweetheart. Are you eating?
Okay, let's focus. Stick to the script there. Right there.
The new Mint family plan is only $15 a month per person.
And the other line right there.
Just one of the many reasons I love Ryan more than his dumb brother, Terry.
Please, perfect. Moving on. Stop, Terry.
You suck, Terry.
Owner of Mint Mobile, I always want to find ways to save you.
It said in like asterisks, Ryan Reynolds' mom is paid in hugs. Uh-huh. Our barely paid spokesperson. Okay, Ryan. I swear to God, it's those commercials that made me want to use that service more than the fact that it's great service and cheap.
Yeah, well, that's because that's how you should take a lesson away from that. Like, consumers connect with products much more at an emotional level than at an intellectual level.
Much more.
So it's really just finding whatever emotional button they have that you need to push that will get them to say yes to the sale. More than but a lot of the time, logic helps you.
Well, you have to use usually it's best to use logic to find that emotional button to push.
And some people are so logical that logic is their button. But it's rare.
Those nerds.
Yeah, like me.
That's not even your rule of thumb when it comes to you just can, like everyone.
Yeah, right.
And you might do it a little bit more than most because you're more logical than most.
But I'm definitely primarily an emotion spender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like most people.
Yeah.
So the logic spenders don't live happy lives. It's just a proven fact.
Yeah. Well, old logic spenders tell you you live happy lives, so that's how it's a proven fact.
Wolfgang. And he's not even
shit ass. He's an emotion spender.
Yeah, he's totally an emotion spender. He just hates the fact that he's an emotion spender.
Like me.
But worse.
Way
because he doesn't actually respect emotion spending.
Yeah. So he's just caught in a vicious, barely upward spiral.
fine, you know?
Right.
This is fine.
And he 15 mil tax.
Yeah. These niggas really wanted to tell. Yeah. These niggas. He's like, don't worry about the crime.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No. Stop. Don't say shit
I've
like
never
that.
gotten that kind of treatment before in my life.
Yeah.
In an establishment. Ever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Trying to move to Egypt.
Yes. Yes. If that's how I'm gonna get treated.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Right?
I am.
If that's the culture that made those men that way.
I mean, you just walk in and you're American into a place like that, and they just treat you like that because you know you got money.
Yeah. Right. That's the. It was trying to upsell us.
Yes.
For how is he going to make a profit off? I don't think he was going to make a profit.
No, they make insane. They probably get this shit for less than $10 a pop.
That's true. So he was like, it's
Or
still profit.
yeah, or the
Either
20, the 15 plus the 25 is still more than they pay for the two.
25 must
25
be greater than the amount of
two of them. Yeah.
that they pay, which just doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Like, it could literally be like $10 a pop that they pay at most. Okay, at most.
At most. Yeah, they buy them by the
still,
fucking case.
Right, and that's still profit off of each one if he had sold us 2 for 25. When you see it, so this is.
Go to see your purple. I mean the vape. Take a good foundation and take it too far.
Yes. But that's not a reason to not want self-driving cars, you motherfucker. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yes, have cities that aren't built around cars. Also have self-driving cars. What's wrong with that?
These two things do not collide.
They're not mutually exclusive.
At all. You're just making up a reason to shit on Elon Musk because he's to the right of you, because you're an insane leftist. Can't we have cities that are built around cars and self-driving cars? Screenshot.
Always do that. The most important word.
And you get it the opposite. Somehow you always get it the opposite.
Always. Always. Why? I don't understand.
It's Freud. It's your subconscious. It's also just plain old dyslexia. Not like the reading, but like psychological dyslexia. It's like
this earlier, and I was like, we're behind on One Piece. There's probably at least 2 episodes we haven't seen.
At least, yeah. Shit is
And it's the crunkest One Piece ever.
Yeah.
Is he not still in the middle of the... He is.
That honestly makes it a good thing that we haven't been watching episode by episode.
Yeah. Who's trying to watch him fight fucking, what's his name? Kaido in bits and in 5-minute bits. Because you know they're only...
Don't forget Big Mom.
Yeah. Fuck, no.
And, you know, Zoro and everyone.
Well, still probably going to watch before another episode comes out. Oh, fuck that. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Did you know? Hold on. No! Did you know vultures can be very gentle creatures? Only if they think it would be more trouble toward the fight. Almost certainly that's how they which isn't most of the things they would try to fight. Including humans when they try to fight you.
So, they're not gentle with humans because they don't fear us?
Most of the time that they interact with us and it comes to a fight, they weren't fearing us at least. But they don't like just initiate fights with humans. Like they don't attack humans like they do whatever they eat. Yeah, we're stronger than them. We don't have talons or wings, but don't let us pick
one punch will lay you out.
Don't let us pick up any kind of weapon.
Seriously though, like one punch will break like half their bones. Like,
Yeah, no, it would definitely break like half their ribs.
Yeah.
You could snap their neck.
break a wing
Yeah.
or a foot.
Yeah, that's just a punch. Don't let it be a kick. And you'll rupture an artery. I'm not an artery. One of your organs will go down. Yeah. But you got it's 30 seconds. 37 seconds of your life. You will not be heard about sacrifice. Looks like he hurt his knee. Okay, look.
That looks like a falcon to me.
It's a black vulture. Eating shit off the bottom of his shoe.
Politely.
Politely. Yeah.
He's like, you're cool if I eat this, right?
Right.
That's okay, right? It's not eating your foot, you see.
It's letting him pet him and everything. He like brought his wings in so that they could be petted.
And I think he brings his wings
so
in
that he can stay on there. Yeah.
But he certainly doesn't seem to be bothered.
No.
He's like, oh, petting is the rubsies is the price of eating off your shoe. Free lunch.
Bro. That is nuts.
Newfound respect for vultures. They're peaceful people, you see. That's why they eat dead shit. Because they're peaceful people. They don't like fighting.
Yeah, they don't. They eat dead shit.
But that's the reason they eat dead shit.
Yeah, they don't like fighting. Yeah. They literally will wait out a pack of wolves after they've killed some giant.
This way.
Yes.
What is this guy? What the fuck is this guy doing? Never seen a monkey up this high. Unlike this tame one.
They say that he's saying this one's tame.
Apparently.
That how do you know?
Yeah, he doesn't know. In India, I've had Himalayan Griffin vultures looking over at me as if to say, "You're not very good at this, are you? Let me show you where the thermal is." That doesn't sound any different from what this bird is doing.
No.
At all.
No.
Except this one's like a little bit nicer.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
He's just a different like species of vulture and a different person too.
Yes. He's like, I smell something good under your shoe, bro.
He's like, not gonna stop me, right?
And this thing looks pretty cool. What do you got? What are you on here? What is this thing?
Red kites over commonly lighting hills such as Calm Gibbet in Berkshire are very used to us and often fly close. Buzzards a little bit more wary. Red kites and wood whales completely unfazed by people. Thereabouts timid as mice.
We need to go paragliding.
I know, but I'm scared to death of doing it.
Me too. First, obviously we need like to go with like a professional. You know, a professional will do all the thingies, and we just be attached to them. That's totally a thing. And it doesn't have to be up that high the first time.
However high it is, it's high enough to die if you don't do it right. So
yeah, but I mean, can't you trust yourself to do a parachute? Bare minimum, you wear a parachute.
I trust myself, but there's a % chance that the parachute itself fails.
Oh, well. Okay, then don't do paragliding. If that's what you decide. I think it'd be really cool to try.
Wait. Well, paragliding is a different Deidre. I would do paragliding because it's not a parachute.
Yeah. You would just wear a parachute just in case something went wrong.
Well, yeah.
That's all I was talking about. I wasn't talking about going parachuting. I was just talking about wearing a parachute when you're paragliding.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I want to paraglide. That's just like flying a plane, but lower tech. I mean, if it's a good paraglider, it's not going to just snap.
Parasailing is considered very safe.
Like, it's probably considered way safer than parachuting.
From 1982 to 2012, that's 30 years. 150 million riders, 1,700 accidents.
0.001%.
That's stats.
Chance of something happening.
The odds get better with better equipment and using a professional service provider.
Yeah, so if I have the best equipment
and use a professional service provider,
then it's way less than 0.001% chance. in that case of anything, and that's just because something happens doesn't mean you die.
No,
because it's not like a parachute where it's like pass fail, like either the parachute works or the parachute doesn't work. It's more like if something goes wrong, you probably still make like a shitty landing.
That's why you go with a professional for multiple times until you are a professional.
Yeah, I would want to receive like professional parasail training.
Yes, before I would ever go by myself.
Yeah. But fuck yeah, I want to parasail.
It's literally like flying, like a bird.
Yeah, I know. I've always promised myself I would do that, and I've also always promised myself I would like invent better technology for it, like because like this shit is not good enough.
I mean, it's gotten a lot better since 1982.
Way better, but I feel like it's not an impossible engineering problem. People all my life, adults have told me it's an impossible engineering problem to like make physical wings that you could fly with, like wings that you wear that you could fly with. But I really don't think that that's true. I think it's just a solvable engineering problem. But
how is if it's impossible to do it, then how do birds do it?
That's what I'm fucking saying. Okay, so they're saying the wings would have to be too big because of how much we weigh, and I'm like, that's not really a problem. And then they're like, well, they'd be too heavy.
Then how come a plane is really, really heavy and it flies?
Well, it flies in a different way than birds fly. It flies by moving so fast that the wind pushes.
Okay, incorporate some of that to do the liftoff. That's what birds do.
Well, that's already what parasailing is. But I mean,
Yes, but you can't parasail from off the fucking ground. You have to jump off a cliff into some wind.
Well, you're talking about like having a jetpack attached to the wings, which is totally a viable option. But I think you could do it without even a jetpack. Like, I don't see a reason why you couldn't design the wings so that
you use your own power to fly.
Yeah.
No, we don't have enough physical arm power to do that. That's not how we evolved. We don't have enough. Our strength isn't mostly in our wings, like a winged animal. And we're also not super light everywhere else, like a winged animal.
You would probably need an exoskeletal structure to provide you the strength necessary to flap the wings. But that would be okay. I'd be okay with that.
I don't see how that's very different than having power on the bitch, but whatever.
It's not that different. You should have both, honestly.
Yeah. So that none is overworking the other or anything like that.
And each acts as a failsafe against the other. If one breaks, you should still be able to make a safe landing with your fucking jetpack.
And throw a parachute on that worst case scenario.
A couple parachutes. What's the chances of 2 parachutes going bad?
Anyway, when are you going back to work?
In like 5 minutes.
Why are you annoyed that I'm asking you that question?
I'm not. I'm annoyed that I haven't gotten enough work done.
You definitely didn't make that clear at all.
Holy shit.
Want more affordable housing, and then they dick-ride the fuck out of rent control, which is like one of the dumbest policies. It is dumb. People criticize it, but it's kind of like Democrats.
So, for the record, the only thing that needs to be said on the issue of contraception is that contraception, specifically condoms, but also all contraception, is for losers. Okay? It's for fucking losers. Okay? If you're using contraception, you're a loser. Okay? If you're having sex with someone that you're not willing to have a child with, you're a loser. Okay? By definition. And no, it's not okay for you to do that. Should it be legal? Yes, of course. Is it okay? No. It's absolutely unacceptable.
So they want more affordable housing, or progressives say they want more affordable housing, and then they dick-ride the fuck out of rent control, which is like one of the dumbest policies of all time.
True.
So people argue.
Absolutely unacceptable. Someone that you're not willing to have a child? So, for the record, the only thing that more affordable housing and dick-ride the fuck out of rent control, which is like one of the dumbest policies. It is dumb. People criticize it, but it's kind of like Democrats. So, for the record, the only thing that needs to be said on the issue of contraception is that contraception, specifically condoms, but also all contraception, is for losers. Okay? It's for fucking losers. Okay? If you're using contraception, you're a loser. Okay? If you're having sex with someone that you're not willing to have a child with, you're a loser. Okay? By definition. And no, it's not okay for you to do that. Should it be legal? Yes, of course. Is it okay? No. It's absolutely unacceptable. So they want more affordable housing? More progressives? Fuck yeah, motherfucker!
You can argue something like, oh, okay, well, do you really care about rent? Because it doesn't seem like you're pushing policies that don't help. So, I mean, you could say, like, oh, you say they don't care about rent? Well, no, they do care about rent, but it's just like policies they're pushing aren't affecting the thing that they're trying to change. So it just seems kind of strange. I think
they think it's working, or they feel they have to go a particular route. If you're a conservative and you have a lot of Christian influence and you're a strong Christian, right? You might want certain goals, but automatically, to you at least, it locks off certain opportunities that you can use to get to that goal because of a moral reason or a religious reason.
To the conservative, women having sex outside of the socially ordained, divinely ordained, controlled format of a monogamous marriage is sinful. It is degenerate. And
I'm an enlightened centrist Republican, Vosh. I don't think that at all. I just think it's completely unacceptable and degenerate and filthy and shouldn't be shouldn't be socially tolerated. Okay, not saying it should be illegal, but it shouldn't be socially tolerated for women to have sex with men that they do not want to have children with. Okay? It just shouldn't be a thing that happens. And obviously, the same thing goes for men. That might not be obvious to some people, but hopefully it's obvious to you.
The primary agent of this degeneracy is, of course, the woman. Now, Republicans don't care that much if guys sleep around. You know, this is very basic slut-shaming logic, right? Like,
ladies, sleep with however many guys you actually plan on having a baby with. That's my advice. Guys, sleep with however many women you actually plan on having a baby with. That's my advice. Hashtag equivalent exchange. Ain't it beautiful, folks?
You know, you can talk about when guys sleep around. It's like, hey, you know, if girls sleep around, they get shamed and like kicked out of their social circles in a lot of conservative places. And like,
oh, it feels so good to speak my piece on this fucking shit when normally I only listen. Dear Lord, it feels so much better. Fuck all y'all.
Bible.
Destiny's at the case. You went to Catholic school. All the guys.
I mean, they'll always tell you that like nobody should have premarital sex, but like socially speaking, it's always kind of like a wink, nudge, nudge. If you're a guy, you should do it. But I mean, like,
really?
Tell you that, like,
maybe among your friends, but not around. Like, try telling that to your Sunday school teacher. Oh, I'm gonna go get laid.
I mean, your Sunday school teacher, but I'm thinking more towards like how fathers and mothers like relate to their children. I think even in early like sitcoms, you would see this kind of thing where like the daughters are super protected, and the sons are kind of like, you shouldn't do that, but like, oh, good job, son. You know, not like explicitly, but I mean, like, there's also a difference in terms of like the consequence of both as well, right? Like your daughter sleeping around gets pregnant, and it's like a whole thing, versus your son is sleeping around and doesn't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously there's different, reproductive strategies that are available to men and women, just because of how we evolved. But I don't think that there's some broad feeling. No, I didn't grow up in the Bible Belt, but I would assume there's not a broad feeling among the Bible Belt that's basically like telling guys to go fuck around and telling women that they have to.
It's not, but you're never going to see the same type of charge against promiscuous men as you will against promiscuous women. Where promiscuous women are like essentially devalued whores that have no value left to offer a man in a relationship. Whereas like promiscuous men are like, well, you shouldn't have done that. That was kind of simple, do some penance.
Sure, that's an emergent sort of aspect of just a woman is pregnant and she has the baby. I mean, there's a lot of. I don't think it's just that, but I mean, there's a lot of potential things you could go into for why people treat that the way that they do. It just there's a lot there. Yeah. Like men maybe are perceived more as you go get women and women are to be had in that.
There's like the chase or chasey thing, right? It's like the what's the old kind of like meme saying is that like a box that's unlocked by any key is a shitty lock. A key that unlocks any lock is a master key, right? Like it's like these types of sayings. Like there's a lot of reasons why people believe that the things that they do. It's not just going to be religious or just cultural or just evolutionary. There's a whole bunch that kind of like plays into it.
Oh, I think it is just evolutionary. I think the analogy that you're using there is just to illustrate evolutionary reasoning, because it all goes back to paternity uncertainty. Like the man doesn't necessarily know if the child is his, and the woman always knows any child that comes out of her is hers.
Sure, it's not very interesting to say something like everything is evolutionary, because I mean, like, technically that's true. It's like saying everything is biological, because without biology we wouldn't exist. I mean, that's kind of true, right? But I mean, like, we're going to have evolutionary tendencies, and then culturally we're going to pick and choose which things we exaggerate past and why.
Sure, cultural evolution is a real thing. I would argue that the reason I would argue that all cultural evolution serves biological evolution. Otherwise, the culture would die out, because if the people perpetuating the culture don't continue themselves, then the culture dies just as a point of logic.
So Adam is correct here, but if I remember correctly, he doesn't press nearly hard enough in this little exchange. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm misremembering.
It's like a hedge that you could trim.
You have to be really careful where you go with that, because like should type 1 diabetics be allowed to live? Right? You know, these people that have... You know what? You win that.
Well, no, I'm not making that argument. One that we protect people like the type 1 diabetic, right? And I mean, you have a perfect example in someone like Stephen Hawking, which in 3,000 years ago, Attila the Hun would have just pushed him off the cliff, right? But since we kept him, he's been a major contributor to our society.
Well, that's because our culture has recognized that you can get a great deal of value from people who maybe aren't physically...
Yes. But that is part of our culture.
But in a way, but now you've transcended the biological into the culture, right? Because now you're arguing that, because theoretically, this is why society is so complicated. Theoretically, the goal of any gene is to, propagate itself, right? That's what genes are supposed to do. They copy it, they copy themselves, that's what they do,
sustain,
right? Yeah. It might be the case that there are some negative strategies.
Stephen, you're wrong. Because it doesn't matter how cultural something gets. It's never going to fully transcend being also biological evolution, and specifically being biological evolution first and foremost. You're never going to make something primarily not biological evolution by claiming it any degree. You can claim whatever degree, X degree of cultural evolution that you want to claim. The phenomenon you're talking about is still primarily and fundamentally biological evolution. Okay? Do you fucking understand?
That in a microcosm seem to not work well, but in a macrocosm actually end up working well because of how we socialize with each other. So this is, I don't know where we're at on this. I don't know if we can ever know the thing about this, but I've heard it suggested that evolutionarily speaking, there might be an advantage to having gay people in groups of people. Even though gay people don't propagate their genes, having some number of gay people present in a society allows for more caretakers to be worried about competing with for reproduction purposes, right? So that is an example of it seems like a very negative reproduction strategy, being gay, but having some of these people might give that society more advantage than another one where every single member is competing for reproductive purposes, right? That's just an example of where things can be started to become socially exaggerated, or it's hard.
That's biological, primarily
interwoven with each other.
Well, society is primarily and fundamentally biological in its evolution.
That's a huge aspect of any evolutionary talk, whether it's cultural or particularly biological, is that you gotta operate on these very large scales a lot of the time. It's, isolated stuff doesn't always...
And you're talking about multi-level selection. You're talking about selection at the level of the individual and also selection at the level of the group. So obviously...
Was that, what did Brett call his lineage selection?
Lineage selection, yeah.
Right, versus individual selection.
We're going to have him on to talk about that, because he keeps talking about it, but not really... No one's digging in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason evolutionary stuff comes up when we're watching Vosh or other, leftists, is that they primarily ignore any of the biological tendencies that kind of view people as these blank slates. And then all this stuff is just culture kind of being foisted upon people, forcing them down these pathways, which I don't think you're going to get the outcomes you want if you have that view. And it's really culture is kind of trying to sublimate these evolutionary tendencies in pro-social ways. And you have to kind of understand it and look at it in that way if you want to enact positive change in society.
And if you want to build better institutions. Go ahead,
yeah. It's the exact same thing, when you want to make government policy to alleviate some issues around poverty, you cannot ignore market forces. If you do that, you're going to miss so much, and you're not going to be able to account for everything that's going on. It's the same thing when we talk about social things. You can't just try to enact social policies or change culture in a way and completely ignore biological realities, because then you get into weird areas where they're saying Kobe Bryant should be able to identify as a woman playing the WNBA the next day or something, right? You have to have some grounding here in what is actually true.
Right. Well, that's what Lysenkoism was in Last Sitch Disaster.
Yeah.
Wait, you're telling me you believe in genes?
Well, girls will lose everything if they're accused of being a slut. And guys, by the same, and we're talking about divine social standards here, right? You'd think it'd go both ways.
Lose everything, huh? Lose everything? LOL. What do you mean lose everything? Specifically, what do you mean? Because I literally can't even imagine what you think you mean. When you say that girls will lose everything for being accused of being a slut, do you think that it will be made illegal to be a slut? Because I don't think that, and I don't want that. You fucking piece of shit.
But of course it doesn't. It's about controlling women. And
I mean, men have an intuition that they don't like.
All right. Public service announcement. Controlling women is good. Particularly if you're a man. And also, particularly if you're a woman. If you're a woman, you should have self-control. And if you're a man, you should control the women in your life in a good way. You know? Just like you control a screwdriver in a good way. Or just like your mother controls you in a good way to teach you how to do things that help you survive and help society flourish. Things like that, you know? Oh wait, sorry, you're just leftist trash, so you don't want to hear any of this. Carry on.